I was sent a WhatsApp video during the week by my friend Tom, and it was a video of this bloke, I think in an Italian city, doing a bit of juggling with a football, and he had a hat in front of him to collect a bit of money, and he didn't seem that good at it, to be honest with you. Most people were walking by, ignoring him. They kicked the ball to one or two, and they kicked it back, but again, just carried on walking by, until a young lad got a bit attached to it and started playing with him for a while. And after a few minutes, the fellow with the football had finished, and he went down to the young lad and he signed the football for him. And he took off his wig and his beard, and it was Cristiano Ronaldo. So maybe the most famous footballer in the world. And I was just thinking, all those who maybe watched the video later, and of course instantly, people didn't walk by. Almost within a minute, there was a massive crowd standing around him. And maybe all those who walked by earlier, when they heard about it, would have felt, I missed out on seeing this superstar. We don't like to miss out. The Greeks going to Jerusalem didn't want to miss out on seeing this man whom they'd heard about. These Greeks were probably converts to Judaism, just visiting Jerusalem for the festivities. And they wanted to see this new prophet. But just think to yourself, they'd heard about his miracles, his preaching, his amazing acts of compassion. But what they got to see and hear was that quite deep and profound sermon. Maybe not what they were expecting. And what Jesus was talking about, though, was something that would have been familiar to them, the seed. Many of them from rural backgrounds would be familiar, and maybe even us living in cities and towns with seeds lying around, even for years in packets maybe in our drawers, looking dead to us. But we know that even after years, these seeds can spring into life. But they won't do, not just left in a packet or in a drawer, no matter what we do to them, unless we do one particular thing. What they need is water. Simple as that. Not soil to start with or sunshine, just water. Once that water hits the seeds, then the process of change, germination begins. They swell up, they spring into life, shoots start to appear, and then when they're in soil and sunshine, they grow after immersion in water. Jesus is saying that unless this happens, they remain a single grain. So why does Jesus use this example of the seed? Well, it's because something is about to happen to him, and we know what that is. He is about to die. But at the same time, his death is an immersion into the Father's will. He's soaking himself in the love of the Father and the power of the Holy Spirit. And it's only through his death that not just he will rise again, but that we too will be saved and rise again. And that's the point. What he's talking about is not about the walk that he has to make to the resurrection, but the one that we are called upon to follow. And he says so. By his death, he will draw all people to himself. And in his Holy Spirit, we too can be immersed. We too can be filled with the love of God and the power of God's Spirit. We too can be like that dry seed with the potential to become what we're called to be, But that potential is only realized when we're immersed in God. You know, we all immerse ourselves in all sorts of things. And often, we've got the pandemic, but ordinary life prior to this, we're often searching for meaning or life, purpose. Something is missing. I think everybody has that feeling that something is missing. And often the sign of it is we seek to immerse ourselves in all sorts of things. I don't need to name them. We can all name what those are. Only to find that whatever joy they give can be just temporary, short-lived. They can even add to the problem of emptiness. But not God. Not when we immerse ourselves in Jesus. Not when we allow his Spirit to come fully into our lives. It's then that we grow. It is then that we can produce a great harvest. And this promise of Jesus is not for a few, and that's a mistake we sometimes make. We think of maybe just the chosen few. The invitation for everyone is there to be immersed in God's Spirit. If we want to see him, to experience him, then that's the way to go about it, to seek him in allowing him fully into our lives, his Spirit, like the Greeks in the gospel who seek him out. And what we have to remember all the time is that it's not him who's hiding from us.